Hi guys, good morning to you. Good morning. Um, God has a plan for each of us. It's a plan for good and not for evil. It's a plan to give us a future and a hope. It is a definite plan. As we go into Sunday, whether you consider this the first day of the week or the last day of your week or whatever, think about how great you are to God. I mean, He thinks you're the apple of His eye. In Jeremiah, we read that He knows the plans that He has for us. They're plans for good and not for evil, plans to give us a future and a hope. God has a future for you. God has a, you know, a, the trouble is, I think a lot of us focus on the wrong things. If you keep bringing it up, you're going to keep bringing it back. If you keep looking into uh, the past is gone. It doesn't matter. It happened, but it doesn't matter. And a lot of us tend to keep focusing on where we've been and what's happened to us and the failures of the past. And in the book Think and Grow Rich, it says before success comes into anyone's life, they're sure to meet with much temporary defeat and perhaps some failure along the way. Um, so remember when you were a kid and you jumped off the couch and somebody hollered out, "He might fall or she might fall. What is this might business? We're gonna fall. We're gonna fall and fall often." And I think the school systems of today and the educational system of today and even the religious system of today um, kind of coddle to people's the hang on a second. Now, there, I don't know where that's coming from, but let me let me just close this out. There we go. There we are. Sorry, guys. I was getting some confusion there, but good to see everybody this morning. Um, the it is a it's imperative that you remember that there is a divine creator of the universe, and no matter where you are at on the spectrum, there's I tell people if I had a ministry, it would be called the Messiah's Misfits because there's so many people who just don't fit in to the what we call church. I don't even think Jesus would fit in to what we call church. We could, uh, a lot of times people, hey Jacob, good to see you. Um, a lot of people just, you know, I don't think God Himself could fit in to what we. Uh, I think we would judge God. I think we, I think we would. Oh, if you don't roll the way I roll, if you don't do what I do, if you don't smell like I smell, if you don't look like I look like, if you don't, and it's just constant. It's constant. Thanks for sharing the live out, guys. Thanks for liking the live. But I think we just got to remember it's all about grace. It's all about grace. Having God's grace, man, and recognizing, and that's why I do these things because that's why I enjoy doing these. Because um, for those of you that wouldn't darken the doorway of a church, trust me, I realize why. Um, but you'll darken the doorway of a Zoom call. You'll darken the doorway of a TikTok. And you might even be on a Facebook Live or anything like that, but you got to realize that it's okay. You know, the Bible tells us where two or more are gathered in his name, there he is in the midst of us. So he is here. He's here to meet our needs. He's here to hang out with us. He's here to just and accept us for who we are and where we are. And I'm going to tell you, I don't care what you've done or uh, who you do or who you are or who you think you aren't. It doesn't matter to God. And I think we just put so many labels on everything. And rather than just getting God to celebrate us, we feel like He has to tolerate us. And I'm going to tell you, if there isn't anybody else that celebrates you, and most of them tolerate you, God does not tolerate you. God celebrates you. He celebrates you. If there's not anybody else that does, I want you to remember that God emphatically celebrates you. You can screw up over and over and over and over again. And he is going to look down and he's going to see this masterpiece that he created. In my kitchen, my wife and I, we have a tapestry. And on the one side, the side we see, it looks like France. And it's rolling hills and vineyards and all that. But you turn that thing around and you see a bunch of knots. So actually, that's what we see. We see string hanging down, we see knots. We look at our life and we say, I don't have the followers, I don't have the connections, I don't have the money, I don't have the. If, if God loved me, why would He allow my brother to die? If loved me, why does He allow so much evil in the world? If He loved me, why does and we keep looking at all these strings hanging down. We keep looking at all the knots. And from our side, it looks chaotic. But from his side, you see a bunch of knots. He sees perfection. When God looks at you, he looks at his greatest creation. You are his greatest creation. You have the power to get wealth. You have the power to choose. You have the power to be kind. You have the power to choose not to kill. You have the power to allow or disallow. You know, a lot of us say we keep blaming God for all the problems in the world. Why does he allow wars? Why do we? Why do we? You know, he told us to go into all the world, take dominion. Why do we allow it? Why are we mean and cruel and nasty to each other? We have a choice. We have a choice. In fact, in the book of Corinthians, it tells us that even though we walk in a physical world, see, we're so bound by the physical. We're so bound by circumstances. We're so bound by where we are at the present moment. It's like even in the school system, our report cards. They're in the present moment about uh, where you are currently. You know, you're currently getting an F. You're currently getting a D, and that's what we say that student is. No, that's not who that student is. That's where they are at a moment. That's because they can cram on the test. I want to just say hello to Matthew and Muhammad, and I want to say the people watching on Facebook, welcome. Um, Quandale, Matthew, Muhammad, I appreciate you, brother. And then we got who else is here? We have Brady. Let's see, guys. Let me pull up my romper room here. Uh, let's see. Josh, Andy, user. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. Thanks for liking the live and sharing the live out. I appreciate you guys. I really, am excited that you're here and you're hanging out with me. Um, just a quick question though, if you can hear me, um, where are you from and what's going on in your life? What are you dealing with and what could you use the most help with right now? If there was a problem and you could just wave a magic wand over your life and it could be fixed, what is that issue that you're dealing with? Because a lot of times we come into these places and we whether it be at a church or seminar or motivational speech, and we kind of hear some fluff, but then we go away with the same issue. And I don't want that for us this morning. If God has a plan for our life, why don't we figure out what that plan is and what we can do to change our circumstance and all that. So while you're thinking about that, we're just going to take a look here at um, 1 second here. We're going to go to, we're going to sing the song together. It's Amazing Grace because it is all about His grace. Whoa, whoa, see, how sweet the sound the Savior of life. Over was mine. Yes, amen, amen. I was blind, but now I see. So, who do we got on the call right now? Josh is still here. Josh, what's going on in your world? Where are you from? And thanks for liking the live, guys. Thanks for sharing it out. Hey, guys, good morning. Good morning on Facebook. Those of you that are watching, God has a plan for us. In Jeremiah, it says that He knows the plans that He has for us. They're plans for good and not for evil. Ephesians 3:20. We read, "Now to Him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ever ask, imagine, or think, according to the power that's at work with us, be glory now and forever." Now, let's break that verse down. We just heard in Jeremiah that He has a plan for us. And we hear then in Ephesians 3:20, uh, that now to Him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ever ask, imagine, or think. Well, if he is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we could ask, imagine, or think, then why do we keep getting the same thing? You know, if God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ever ask, imagine, or think, and then if you take it from the Bible and you go over to a book called Think and Grow Rich, it says write down what you want, write down thoughts are. First of all, he says thoughts are things and powerful things at that. When they're mixed with the definiteness of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire for their attainment. Uh, God measures the stars of the sky with the span of his hand. In the book of Colossians, it says he holds everything in place by the word of his power. If you think of the universe and its mass and its size, the psalmist says, "What is man that thou art mindful of him?" If God wanted to, he could shake us off like a bag of fleas. You know, but it says that he holds everything in place by the word of his power. You ever been to the ocean? That ocean, for the most part, 98% of the time, stays put. It stays put. You know, that ocean could drown us all. The earth is 70% water. Isn't that amazing? The earth is 70% water, and yet, by design, it doesn't go anywhere. It is that we're on an axis. We are spinning. Did you know that we're spinning at 900 miles an hour? 900 miles an hour. That's how fast the earth is spinning. Think about that. 900 miles an hour. So when you feel like your life is spinning out of control, I got news for you. It's spinning into place. It's being held in place because of it spinning so much. Everything is a law of vibration when it spins at the right rate of speed. And if you find that law of vibration, you know, that that I call it being in the zone. And here's how we get in the zone. Norman Vincent Peale, he said, if I think in positive terms, I will receive positive results. And if I think in negative terms, I'll get negative results. He said, fervently, do I wish I would have discovered it. It's been my greatest discovery outside of my relationship to God. I wish I would have discovered this years ago. If I think in positive terms, I'll get positive results. And if I think in negative terms, I'm going to get negative results. So if you want to be in the sweet spot, the more you renew your mind. The Bible tells us in Romans 12, verse 2, it says, be no longer conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you can test and approve the will of God for your life. You think about it. If you really want to get in with God, now people say, I don't believe in God. It's okay. He doesn't need you to. He doesn't need you to. But people say, well, if God was so good, why does He allow so much crap in my life? And that's where I have to draw the line. I have to say, if God is so good, why does He allow it? Well, if you are so good, why do you allow it? Because He says He gives every person the power to get wealth. Hey, PJ and Alex, thanks for joining. But He gives every person the power to get wealth. He gives every person the power to choose the way you want to live. Now, the trouble is, we're in a system that's designed to keep us where we are, to keep us where we are. And we fall into it, hook, line, and sinker. And then we sit in the present circumstance. Hey, Cowboy Edits, welcome. In the present circumstance, we sit and we focus on where we are or where we've been, and we don't realize why it's not changing. And then we go back to the same old, same old. If God is so good, why am I so bad? No, that's a wrong thinking. In fact, it's not thinking at all. It's looking at where we are and where we've been. God has a plan for us. How do we find that plan? Well, in the book of Philippians, by the way, the book of Philippians was written from a prison cell. So it doesn't matter your present circumstance, but you can choose joy in the present circumstance that you find yourself in. But in the book of Philippians, it says, whatever is true, whatever is noble, if anything worthy of praise, if anything lovely, if anything good, if anything positive, if anything has any consolation, let your mind dwell on those things. And in the book of Corinthians, it reads, um, in the book of Corinthians, we read, for though we walk in the physical world, a lot of us focus on the physical. What do I look like, my weight, my circumstances, my paycheck, my account balance, all that. But so we focus on the circumstances. And Paul, they said in Corinthians, he said, for though we walk in this physical world, the battle we fight is not in the physical world. The battle we fight is in the mental and the spiritual world. In the book Think and Grow Rich, he says, more gold has been mined from the thoughts of men than has ever been taken from the earth. So we have power in our mind. In the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, it says, be no longer conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Remodel your mind, change the whole structure of your mind, and you'll begin to say, wow, my life is becoming different. It's an automatic thing as night follows the day. Now, if you can choose, now it doesn't matter your present circumstance. See, people, this is the struggle that most people have in their present circumstance. They're struggling to pay their bills. They're, they just got in through a breakup. Their relationships went south. The business failed. They've got to file bankruptcy. The, the, the backs up against the wall, and they just don't know the next place to turn. They're just they're just at their wits end. And here's what I want to get across to you. It doesn't matter your present circumstance. Let me share something with you. 2,000 years ago, this guy calls 12 people to himself and he says, come follow me, I'll make you fishers of men. And they had just finished a day. This is found in Mark chapter 8. They had just finished a day of miracles. In fact, Jesus just fed 5,000 people and their families. Little boy had some lunch. He blessed it. He said, pass it out to all these guys. And they fed 5,000 people and their families, about 15,000. And then Jesus was tired. That's a tiring day, right? He's like, I'm whooped. That's sweet. Besides, um, I'm going to go up on the mountainside. I need some solitude. I'll meet you on the other side. Well, the other side of what? The other side of the Sea of Galilee. See, the Sea of Galilee is about 8 miles. If you don't know what it is, it's the Lake Gennesaret over in Israel, and it's 8 miles wide, 8 miles tall, about 64 miles in diameter. It's huge. It's like Lake Superior, and they they start rowing out, and they get about 4 miles in. That's halfway, right? Halfway. Well, the winds start rising, and they're like, freaking out where they're supposed to be, and all of a sudden they see a solitary figure walking to them on the water. And they were terrified. And Jesus hollers out, says, "It is I. Don't be afraid. Don't bother." See, infinite intelligence. See, when you start changing your thinking, infinite intelligence is not bound. He defies the gravity of your situation. Whatever your situation, he defies it. You know, you can sit there and look at it, look at it, look at it, trying to figure out in the finite. There ain't no way. Oh, it's a physical impossibility. You just have no clue. Have no clue how to get through it. Well, Jesus, infinite intelligence, God, defies the gravity of your situation. He walks above it. The situation for them was they were in the middle of the lake. They had 4 miles to go. They were tired as well. They were beat. They had a long day, middle of the night. They're out 4 miles. Can you figure? Can you think about this? Can you put yourself in their situation? They were out there. They were in the thick of it. You ever been in the thick of it? You ever just? I just don't know how I'm going to get this done. I got 400. I need 800. I got half the rent. I need the other half. I don't know how. I've been working my fingers to the bone. Um, I just went to the grocery store. I feel your pain, guys. I just went to the grocery store the other day. Went to the grocery store. They said that'll be $55. They gave me one bag of shit. One bag. And I said, wait a minute. I want my bags. And I asked for 5 bags. I was like, if I'm going to pay $50, I want my bags. Excuse me, guys, but I just so I feel your pain, and thanks for sharing alive. Thanks for sharing alive, Arthur. The it's, I was like, these groceries are just getting outrageous. You got to ask for 90 days same as cash just to buy groceries for a week anymore. It's like, so I looked at where these disciples were. They were halfway in, and they're just scared. They see this solitary figure walking to them on the water. And he's like, "It is I. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Change your mind to, to faith versus fear. Don't worry. Do not worry." And I just was, so they took him into their boat. They took him into their life. And I got news for you guys. The minute you take Jesus or infinite intelligence into your life or into your boat, this is exactly what's going to happen. The Bible says, as soon as they took Jesus into their boat, take infinite intelligence, change from the finite to the infinite, change from the natural to the spiritual, take change from the physical to the spiritual. When you do that, instantaneously, your mindset will shift and it will give you a new perspective. And it says they immediately reached the shore. Does that mean that no matter what, um, the does that mean no matter what you do, you change? Best way to get your demons out of your basement is start playing some music about Jesus on your Alexa. And guess what? Then they'll flee. They don't like that. Somebody on my TikTok said he had demons in his basement. Well, so do I every once in a while because I sit in my basement. I've never had a demon make me do anything wrong. I got enough trouble with that of my own. Um, anyway, see, well, there's an interesting story. An old couple. They've been married for 56 years, and anyway, this old guy, he's in bed, and his wife's away for a minute, and he's Um, um, he rolls over in his bed, and the devil's there. And the devil growls and roars and all that. He says, I'm the devil. Don't I scare you? He says, why would you scare me? I've been married to your sister for 50 years. Anyway, I think that no, God doesn't tempt anybody. We're all tempted when by our own. I think we blame the devil and the demons too much. We blame the devil, we blame God just way too much. It's by our own evil desires that sin. And that sin word, the word sin means simply missing the mark. You know, a lot of people take the word sin and they're like, oh, he said sin. It simply means missing the mark. It's an archery term. They used it in archery a lot. Anyway, the you know, God has a plan for our life, and it's a good plan. It's a plan to give us a future and a hope, but we have to renew our mind to it. We can't keep thinking the same things over and over and over again, expecting something different to happen. Jesus said, "As you believe, be it done unto you." If you're believing in the negative, if you're giving energy to the negative, does that mean there's no consequences for our choices? No. Does that mean even out of our crappy choices, God can bring good out of it? Yeah. Yes. I don't know how. I don't know how. But when we start tapping into infinite intelligence, when we start saying, okay, God, I'm going to give you a chance. Now, I'm not even going to give you a chance. I'm going to give you my life because Jesus take the wheel. And I'm spinning way out of control. I can't do this on my own. I need you to take the wheel. Hey, TJ, how are you? Because I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. My life is falling apart without you, God. I tried to figure it out. I've tried to say, prove God exists to me. The only way God can prove that He exists to you, if you say, God, prove that you exist to me, and stop asking finite for an infinite explanation. Stop asking people for the Creator's explanation. How are we doing? Hey, William, how are you? Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Hey, Joe. Yoda. Much fear in you, I see. Siri, Liam, how are you? Amani. Thanks for joining, guys. David Baker, how's it? How are you? Tats, uh, Brian, how are you? Anthony, Michael, how are you? JP, Panera Bread, Colton, how are you? Mr. Deeds is in the house. How are you guys? Welcome this morning. Blake, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you guys. So, what's happening in your world? Thanks for liking the live, by the way. Tyler, the greatest of all time, is in the house. I appreciate you. Thank you. Rose, how are you? How is everybody? Man, what a wonderful morning. What a wonderful morning. Isn't it a great day to be alive, guys? Isn't it a great day to be alive? Hey, Gabby. Gabby start came, and now the, the party is on. Hey, God's got a plan for you guys. Excuse me. Nut. You know, my mom used to say, John, you're a nut. I just hope you're screwed onto the right bolt. Rebecca, how are you? How are you guys? Bradley, hey. Hey, guys. Just gonna do a little bit of Elvis here. Hope you like it. Let's see here. We're just gonna bring a little bit of Elvis this Sunday morning. So hope you like it. Grace, oh, how sweet, sweet the sound there's sweet love. Oh, 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 I am proud. I was blind, but I see where the band was I sing bright as shine. Was you just to see yeah, the way we were. How are you, everybody? What's up, man? What's up? How are y'all doing? Hey, Mac, Victor, Harry, Poop. Some of these names some of these names. God loves us. Amen, Apple user. Hey, Brother Bear. Hey, thanks for sharing the live and inviting more friends. And man, I only get 29 likes, and I'm doing all the work, man. I don't want your gifts or anything like that. I just like the likes. Let's see if we can get this up over 10,000 likes. Tap that screen, man. Tap that screen. Double tap. Doesn't take anything but a double tap, man. Just keep on double tapping that screen. Let's get the likes up and share this out. How many how many would you be honest today that you are